Hello everybody, this is another Marks Supercar Club reveal. I'm here at the home of Phil Collins. Did I say Phil Collins? He looks like Phil Collins, sings like Rod Stewart. But anyway, let's see if Phil Collins is in. Hang on, we just got to check out this. I haven't seen one of those in a driveway before. Right, let's see if Phil's in.
Hello? Hey.
Phil Collins.
You can't hurry love. You just have to wait. That don't come easy.
Phil!
Game of give and take.
How you doing?
Yeah, good.
You alright?
I'm in the middle of a barbecue.
Oh, sorry to disturb you. You were saying that you've got a new Renault Scenic that you wanted us... a new car that you wanted to reveal.
I think it would be appropriate, yeah.
Okay,
I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah,
I bought this car because you started doing reveals in the last few months, and my other two cars weren't officially revealed, so I just went out and changed the car just so I could do a reveal.
Yeah, well, it's getting value for money for your club membership, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that makes sense.
The Marks Supercar Club membership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had a couple of cars before.
Yep.
One with the longest name in the whole wide world.
Yes.
Maserati.
The Maserati
Gran Cabrio MC Stradale Centennial Edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get rid of it because it was too long a name.
Yeah, to be honest with you, when I was writing it in the events list of cars, it did grind me a little bit, so I'm quite pleased about that.
No, I was very emotionally attached to that car because it was all to do with selling business and being able to get my first, what I call supercar. I've had M cars and RSs and things, but yeah, it was my treat. But it's gone.
I know, and I'm a bit gutted actually because I met you when you were in that car, if you remember. 2016 that was.
Yeah, it was
I looked it up.
Weird thing. I was getting a loaf of bread and
some stranger
guy came up and said, "I like your car. Would you like to join my club? Here's my phone number." So
and you were hoping it was some other type of club, right?
Yeah, well, I thought it might be the Baker's Club or something because I was really after my crusty bread that morning. Anyway.
Baker's Club. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then later on, you picked up one of Maranello's finest, normally aspirated V12 Ferrari FF.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, the long story. I don't know if you've got time for this, everybody.
No one's got time.
To Meridian Modena 6 years ago, looking for an FF, but I came out with a Maserati because I actually thought the naturally aspirated V8 Maserati was the best sounding car that I'd ever heard.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
To be fair,
it still is. I'm pleased that there's still one in the club.
There is.
So
Stuart.
It's not like it's gone forever. And hey ho, one day I'm the sort of guy who sells a used Maserati Gran Cabrio MC Stradale Centennial Edition 1 year, and then buys it back at a hyperinflated price when it becomes a classic car.
Yeah. Win-win for the dealer.
Oh yeah. I have got a tattoo that says mug.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't beat a massive balloon, can you? Really, on a financing, I think it's fine.
People love a nice inflated balloon.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So had the FF. Okay, so what were you thinking then? So you've sold both of those cars.
Yeah. Well, I have got another car which I use, which is sorry to say this, it's a X5 plug-in hybrid. 45E.
Sorry, I've got to go actually.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
if there is really stuff I don't want to get the car dirty, but really the experience of the FF taught me that I just want to use the car daily. I don't want to have a car that's a garage queen and only comes out in the summer months, and I panic when it rains like it's likely to do any time
whilst
today.
We do the reveal.
I've been looking around. I had a close look at the Aston Martin DBX as a daily, that sort of thing. But
I think you were even considering the Taycan crossover, weren't you?
I was, and to be honest with you, I am pretty impulsive because, I think on a Saturday I was thinking Aston Martin DBX. The next day I was thinking Porsche Taycan Cross. The Cross isn't out here yet, I think it's later in the year. But having driven your Taycan, really impressed with it, I must admit. I thought actually the Porsche Taycan Cross is for me. But I'm obviously trying to build that up because you might think I've got one for UK launch.
It looks like one, actually.
It does.
Under that cover, it looks like it could be one.
I've been really searching for something that I can use that is really awesome, but on a daily basis.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I guess we should aim to have a look and see what it looks like, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Yes, please do.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. Okay. So there it is in the background. Right. Let's go and have a closer look.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Please. Let's have a look. Okay. Here it is. Oh, hang on. Yes. Okay. So not an FF, but a GTC 4 Lusso.
Yeah, well, as you've heard, I do like cars with long names.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was waiting for Ferrari to lengthen, the ease of the FF into the GTC 4 Lusso. So I've been looking for a while because actually this is out of production now because I think Ferrari are going to put some efforts into the Purissange, the SUV. So when I wanted to order one of these new, I was told nil stock. So I've been looking around for the last few months and I managed to find this one with only 380 miles on.
Oh, well, that's basically new, isn't it?
Yeah, delivered in July 2020. And went over to Swindon to Dick Lovett's at Swindon and had a look and instantly
fell in love.
In terms of a daily car, my FF, I did love the FF, but that cream interior didn't really lend itself to
a daily
use,
drive,
especially with the leather-lined boot and the.
Oh right, yes, I remember the leather boot, and it was beautifully stitched and an absolute beauty to look at.
Yeah.
But I mean, you wouldn't have wanted to put a cloth in there in case you damaged it.
But so this one is a little bit more practical because it's, a darker interior, well, black. So, and I do like the idea of the. I do like the idea of the, the yellow calipers with the.
I love that, and that is Tour de France blue, isn't it?
It is Tour de France blue, yeah. So if the sun comes out, you can see that it's a lovely sparkling metallic Tour de France blue. From what I understand of the engine, I think it's an extra 30 brake horsepower over the FF.
So that takes it to.
Well, max speed 208 miles per hour on the odd track day or autobahn, and I think
or M3, to be honest with you.
Well,
if you're late for work, then you've got to do what you got to do. You can't be late for work, can you?
Yeah. Well, does anybody need to go to work these days? I mean, I could do a donut in the front driveway to get to work.
You promised me a donut on this grass.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well,
Jane would probably have something to say about it, but I don't think she's watching right now. So
that does bring up a very interesting spec point because over and above the FF, this now has rear wheel steering. So those donuts can become much more efficient and tighter than they ever were in the FF.
I wonder does it stop you from doing donuts? I wonder.
I suppose you have to go into escape mode or something. You've got to switch all your. Oh no, that's such a technical question, Greg. I wish you hadn't asked that.
We should have prepped that for that one.
We could do take 57 if you really want. And
we have had to do a load of takes because of our reveal system and Greg learning how to use it. Nothing wrong with the reveal system, but
let me finish the specs. So
yes.
Extra 30 brake horsepower from the 6.5 litre V12 engine. Spec-wise, I mean, it changed the mesh type gills to what I would call
slats.
Shark fins.
Oh, shark fins, yeah, that sounds nicer, yeah.
This car is fully PPF'd, and rather annoyingly, that includes the windscreen because I with my failing eyesight, it does pick up.
I can just about pick that up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I really like the idea of it though.
Well, because you've got a stone chip.
I've had a couple on mine within 3 or 4 months, so
And then I think the other feature is the back end. As I found to my experience with the single garage option, this is an extra 30 millimeters wider than the FF. Yeah, I think the back end is the main feature. A much different diffuser. I think it does look more sort of...
Oh right, yes, more defined Venturi sort of style.
And you got the symmetry now. The FF only had one
rear light.
It now looks a bit more symmetrical.
With the twin pipes either side, yeah.
So
rear spoiler as well.
Spoiler up here.
With aero underneath.
Obviously wanted the key things I wanted was a panoramic roof, which this has got, and the lift mechanism, because I think that's always useful on a practical 4-seater car that this one is. And then, yeah, I think the rest of it is sort of mostly an interior upgrade.
Okay, well let's tuck in with the interior then, shall we? Do you know what GTC 4 Lusso?
I think historically the first, the Grand Tourer Ferrari was called the GTC. They've retained the 4 because of the 4-seater, and Lusso is Italian for luxury. So GTC 4 Lusso, it keeps the heritage of the GTC element of the Ferrari brand, plus those other bits. So
yeah, C is coupe, by the way. I looked it up before I came round. Yes, Gran Turismo coupe.
Yeah, I do. So it now is, the FF did have the traditional key. This is now
let's have a look
keyless.
At that. Okay, yeah, that is quite chunky actually. I quite like that. Yeah, that's a smart. They were quite late to the market, weren't they, in making keyless entry? And yeah, you had to. I was always quite surprised. Even the LAF had a key that you had to put in and turn, and then press the start button. I was thinking, by then, really, they should have been on. It should have been in your lap or in your bag.
So that's So this is the narrow black finish with the blue stitching. It's got a reasonable amount of carbon. I don't think it's a fully carbon flight deck. I think there are more carbon features available, but this was adequate for my daily. A much bigger 10-point-something inch screen for the infotainment system, and whilst I think Ferrari will admit it will never be like a German car type of info system and sat nav, I didn't really buy it for the latest sat nav.
Oh right. And talk through it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
So I think in terms of features over the FF, this was a central column, so they've now made more space so you can get a proper 2 cups of coffee in there.
Okay, we talked about this, didn't we? Yeah. That cup holder cost quite a lot of money, really, in real terms, to upgrade to have those cup holders.
Well, it's worth a couple of £1,000, isn't it? Probably. I think it's.
I think it was a lot more than that, wasn't it, to upgrade? But anyway, we won't go into too much specifics.
So this is, within hands, but this is a touchscreen system, and they sort of move these vents. There was 3 across the FF dashboard. They've now split that so you can get the bigger screen in.
Yeah, that looks way more modern, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And things like easier to get hold of buttons. It was quite bizarre. The FF, to do the fuel cap and the rear door, the buttons were on the floor, but they're now in the side of the door there. So things are within much easier reach. And then
yeah, that's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah, things like the lift system is up here next to your hand as well. This doesn't have the passenger display. I'm not particularly disappointed, because now there's a huge opportunity there to put your very small mobile phone in there.
Some of you may remember my last video showing the glove box in the FF, and there was about enough room to put a pencil in.
Yeah.
Whereas I reckon you've got 100% more room in this one. So I reckon you can now get 2 pencils in there.
And while we're on the subject of dimensions, I mentioned the back end is, I think, about 30 millimeters wider than the FF, and the back seats actually, and this is really important because we have got a 6-foot son. He did find the FF was okay, but there's an extra 16 millimeters of leg room. Hang on.
16 millimeters.
Yeah, that is about.
I think that's
16.
generous, isn't it?
I would say that's.
I've been fishing with you, and
Well,
they're
yeah,
generous
yeah.
figures. So, okay, so they've made major improvements to the legroom.
Yes, it was part of the major justification, quite frankly, with the family executive committee.
Those 16 millimeters make all the difference.
Yeah. So, but you see, the back is beautifully finished as well with the those prancing horse stitching on the headrests to complement the narrow interior.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can look up through the panoramic roof.
See if we can get
Greg,
the camera up here.
Probably.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, that's probably an
Okay,
important
yeah,
feature.
that's nice. That is nice. To be honest with you, this has got to be up there in the entire market as possibly the ultimate touring car. Because let's go and have a look in the boot, because presumably it's got a load of boot room as well.
Well, yeah, let's go and have a look at that.
I mean, they call everything GT these days, don't they?
Yeah.
Tourers, but
Yeah.
you know, only some cars you can truly use.
The other good thing on this, the FF, to open the rear hatch on the FF, you had to press the button on your in the driver's compartment or press your key fob. Here, there is actually a button.
A physical
Does
button.
things a lot
Okay.
easier. You
And
can do
unlike
it.
on my car, they've hidden the button underneath, right?
Yeah.
Whereas mine is right on view.
Prominent.
So that was a.
So here, at least there's a carpet finish here, which is really what I wanted, rather than spending £6,000
Okay,
on
yes.
the leather boot that I had in the FF. This
Was
is,
that a £6,000 option?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, because all the shelf unit as well. Actually, I've removed that for the purpose of this film.
Demo.
There is a rear shelf here, and also the I suppose you call it the rear
Like
hatch
tonneau cover
has a
type thing?
Tonneau cover, yeah.
So yeah, you could get a fair amount of luggage in there, couldn't
yeah,
you?
so from here, you know, you can, as well as that space that there is, you know, it's got fully
Fold down.
fold down seats.
Oh right, so taking like old cement and things to the tip.
yeah.
It's perfect for that job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is perfect. And in fact, if anybody wants me to pick up any old rubbish for them, please give me a call. It might work out quite expensive on an hourly basis, but yeah, I've now got the.
You heard it here, folks.
yeah.
If you've got any really, really disgusting rubbish that needs getting rid of, Phil is your man.
So yeah, very pleased with it. I don't know if you want to start looking at the front end yet. But
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
one thing, if you look at some of the reviews by some of those
YouTubers.
YouTube guys, the Schmees and others, and it depends whether you take a Schmee view, Tim Burton view, or a Chris Harris view. In Chris Harris's review, he was quite pleased that they've adjusted the exhaust system so that it's not quite as loud on startup. I think Schmee found it quite annoying, which is why he's now fitted the Novitec valve opener to make it a bit noisier. I must admit, one of the neighbours who popped round, in those days when we used to go to airports at 4 in the morning, you know,
Oh, he
starting the
must have
FF up.
loved
Yeah,
you.
Yeah. Even when you're doing it in the garage, I think the garage acted more like an acoustic drum. And obviously, I used to play the drums with the band, and the
And you know, at 4 a.m. when you were bouncing it off the rev limiter,
yeah.
to be honest with you, you know, that's not that cool, Phil, is
But
it?
then again, I do. If you've got a V12 engine, you do.
You've
want
got to
hear it
bounce
anyway.
it a little bit.
So I might go for that mod at some point.
Okay.
But I do think the finishing.
So I assume it's still naturally aspirated, right?
Yeah, naturally aspirated V12 engine, and as you can see, I haven't yet figured out how to open the bonnet.
Oh, that's quicker than Petro managed on his bonnet,
Excellent.
on his Aston Martin. So that's interesting.
So here you have the 6.5 litre V12, and this
That
is
looks superb, doesn't it? I love it with the red.
yeah. The 4RM. This is the front wheel drive gearbox, which is gives 20% of the power to the front wheels in the first 4 gears. So it is a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but with obviously some limitation because it's not engaged all the time. But it does give you that little bit of added security in terms of cold weather driving or whatever. of course, I did have a set of winter wheels for the FF, and they are.
You've
I
hung
can
on
fit
to them.
those. Yeah, they're in
so you could
storage
do
at
that. Yeah.
Modena. And I do think when you're on the Malatino, you do have the ice.
Oh, I think that's because it went beyond. That's all right. You can carry on.
Yeah, there is the wet. There is the wet road selection, and ice selection on the Malatino, and I think that that keeping it in that four-wheel drive mode is quite useful if you need that level of traction if you're out and about.
Yeah, and in sort of slightly wet conditions as well.
But yeah, so I must admit, I think I've put an additional 30% on the mileage. I've gone from 380 miles when I picked it up. I'm probably more like 420 miles now, but I do intend to use it with a Ferrari full warranty for 4 years and the 7-year service package. My point is I want to use it. I want to do 10,000 miles a year in it. I want to test that warranty. I want to see,
Yeah, it's an interesting point. We talked about this off camera, didn't we? That the warranties are not cheap, are they? They're thousands of pounds, the warranty, and then people still don't really want to use the car. Whereas you're thinking, you've paid for the warranty, use the car, because if anything breaks, it's covered.
Yeah, I think that
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I know obviously there is this point about the increased depreciation the more miles you put on it, but
when you're a baller like you are, Phil, that doesn't matter that much, does it?
No, life's too short. I don't want to spend 4 years of my life doing as little driving as possible in a V12.
Yeah,
it's limited use on a V12, and in terms of the world we're in with the move towards electric and hybrid cars. So I want to use it while I can.
Yeah, and as you say, none of us are getting any younger, are we? So we none of us know what's around the corner. So it is really important to enjoy every single day. So I totally get that. Yeah. Now, Mrs. Phil Collins, what do you make of it? Because you don't actually drive, do you?
No, I don't drive.
So you're a passenger, and you've been a passenger in these other wonderful cars that
awesome cars.
Phil runs around in. You're really into this new one, aren't you?
Definitely.
I was chatting to you the other day about it, and you're totally on board.
Yeah.
Your son can get in it.
Yeah. Do my own reveal now.
Yep.
Earlier because you'd have known what car it was, wouldn't you?
Oh right, yes, yeah, well thought through. Yeah. Sorry, yes. Jane, you were saying.
That was fine. Yes, I was saying that Adam's got more headroom in there.
Oh, headroom as well.
Headroom.
Okay.
He's got more leg room in there. Yeah, and he's well happy. Yes. Yeah.
And are you guys planning on taking it on tour? And if not, why not?
Well, yeah, I think we've signed up for the club meeting in.
The Monaco tour.
Next year, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That'll be there's 2 GTC 4 Lussos on that trip then, so that's good. Okay, so
I want to have the highest mileage GTC 4 Lusso. Yeah,
Pete, who's on that trip as well in his, he's got like 150 cars in his garage. So I reckon you might be the highest mileage man.
Indeed.
He does use it though. He does use it a lot. Yeah. So we'll see.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. All right, well, thank you for showing us around the car. I loved the old FF, and I was gutted when you said you were going to get rid of it. But I think you've managed to find something even better. It is, I guess, a heavily facelifted FF, right?
Yeah, I know.
They've taken the bits that could have been improved and made them better. So, yeah, no, absolutely love it. Right, well, thanks, Phil. Thanks for sharing with us the new acquisition. Overall, you're pleased in comparison to the FF?
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit more refined. I know you don't necessarily buy a Ferrari to be refined, but I can use it as that cruiser. And then I think as the footage shows, if you want to blast it, you really can.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure you'd want to be 4 up when you blast it like that. You know, I think for me that's going to be one of the nice things on my own. You know, pushing it to the limits. Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's a shame we didn't do a bit of video footage like that with the old one, and then compare the look and the engine note and everything. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's let's face it, it sounded absolutely superb. More refined than the FF. It sounded like a Formula One car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about. You get a different perspective, don't you? Maybe as a driver, you realise how much you're giving to the world by driving it as hard as that, because you heard something totally different to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I could just hear the adrenaline pumping through my veins. But yeah, it's good. Thank you, Greg.
No, good. No, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing it out amongst the others. And we'll see you and everyone else on the next run out. So for now, thanks very much and take care. See you later.
Bye.
Okay, so the last car only just got in. This one is 33 mil wider than the FF, and just check out how tight this is. And would you risk it if this was your car? Unbelievable, look. I don't even think he wants to risk it. He got it out earlier and it goes in for sure. God, I hope he knows what he's doing. Can't even see the gap there. Mirrors in. Obviously this side is the easy side because you can't really see this side, so you give yourself room there, but you just have to get as tight as you can on this side. But the widest bit is at the back, so it's in. No scrapes. Not until the next time. Would you risk it?
I'll go next.